Friends, today for Mixed Media Frenzy, we're going to use this sketch, and this is the one that I picked out. Love it, of course, because I picked it out. I like that there's all these triangles, and I'm awful at making triangles, so I thought that would be super fun. Photos about here. Looks like a little bit of a title here, maybe some more wordy bits here. Lots of splats, maybe a little bit of stamp work. I mean, how fun is that? So it's layers and layers and layers. And I'm also doing kind of an online crop at the same time. Not kind of, it is an online crop for Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And my current challenge is to use layers with something hidden. So I thought that this would be a perfect sketch for that, all combined, because I love doing all of the challenges all the time, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to pop this right here. And I'm going to use this for my background piece of paper. I've already used this side for something else, so I'm going to use that for my background. That's from Pebbles Merry Little Christmas. It's called Dancing Reindeer. And I'm going to use these two pieces of paper for some of my triangles. This is Crepe Paper Snowflake. This side has this yellow color in it, but I'm not going to use that, and I'll show you why in a moment. And then we have this great one by Heidi Swapp. It is called Christmas Cheer. And I have the red side as well as this black and white side I can use. So I'm going to try for those three colors of triangles and see how it takes me. See where it takes me, how it takes me. Or another idea is, should I pull out a black or a white cardstock? Let's see, let's see. I've got also, ooh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull out this embossed cardstock and do it on top of that with all of my papers. That is going to work for me. So I'm going to do that. And this is a piece of embossed cardstock by Heidi Swapp. So I'm going to do that so I have stuff on stuff on stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start working on it and take you along with me. So, oh, this is what I was going to show you, why I wasn't going to use that heavy yellow. In these photographs, this is two photos of me, and here's my youngest daughter, and this is me on Christmas morning getting some goodies. The photo came off as so incredibly yellow that I thought if I went ahead and put it next to this, it's just going to be a giant yellow blob, and I did not want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead, get working on this, take you along with me. I'm excited, and see where this takes us. Okay, I'm going to fast forward the next bits. Okay, so I'm just going to show you briefly how I start making these triangles. I really don't know what I'm doing, so that makes it a lot easier. Now, on this one, there was already lines in the pattern paper, so I thought it was important that I just go ahead and work with those diagonal lines. It would be weird if I had them kind of cut any other way. So I went with it that way. And then this is my thinking. I'm like, all right, now how do I make a triangle? And I don't want to waste a lot of this paper and all that kind of thing. So I just make a rectangle, square, whatever you think, fold it in half, put a little fold line at the in the center of one side, and then I just use the center with the fold line, line it up on both the corners, and I start getting triangles. I'm sure that there's a way that you're supposed to do it, but that was the way that I chose to do it. And I did decide to go ahead and see how much of my scraps I could use for all of my triangles. So that's what you're going to see me do. Is I'm going to, like I said, see right there, I'm doing the little foldy bit and then going ahead and cutting it. But I am going to use as many scraps as I can to get some traction on them. All right, so I have a bunch of triangles cut up. I didn't do any huge thinking process with this. I went ahead and attached them down, and now I'm going to just take this, it's like a charcoal gray color. It's a little StazOn ink pad, which I think I need a new one. I've only ever had one, but it's finally starting to get a little dry on me. And I'm going to go ahead and try to go lightly over some of the embossing bits. So that's going to mimic the word stamping that is in the inspiration sketch. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive down so that I can get the tips of my arrows to lay a little bit flatter. Now, before you go ahead and ask, well, what about the tape with the vellum, I went ahead and attached it down in places that you might not see the tape marks, or where, you know, I knew that a photo would be on top of it. So I was cognizant of what I was doing with the placement of it. And, you know, I tend to lightly adhere my pieces of pattern paper down until I know that I'm not going to be sticking stuff underneath it and all that kind of stuff. So what you see right there is this gorgeous crepe paper chipboard that I absolutely adore. Now, a lot of it is like super snowy like themed. And yes, that little car right there with the Christmas tree is adorable and perfect. That's why I was pulling the really Christmassy stuff out. But a lot of it is just waiting for snowy pictures. And we had Christmas this year was 52 degrees maybe at my house, which we have never had. I never remember a warm Christmas like that. It was actually warm enough that my son washed his truck outside in the driveway. It was really weird. And then we ended up having the most beautiful sunset as well. It was like, you know, like that coral color sun, and like, you know, with the bright pinks and all that. So it was really interesting day, but it was actually kind of nice that people could, yeah, have some outside time on Christmas. We never get to have that kind of thing. So those are fabulous American Crafts Thickers puffy stickers. They're phrases, and I mean, they're mostly like, you know, Christmas phrases, but there's gather and celebrate and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to be able to carry them forward into not just Christmassy kits. Oh, and by the way, I'm kind of doing voiceovers in like a central part of my house, so we're going to hear a little bit of chatting from the peanut gallery. My mother's asleep on a couch. My husband's in our bedroom where I usually do voiceovers, so I am right in the family room, and it's a little bit louder in here. Oh, and the puppy Mason, which he's not a puppy, I call him a puppy, is sitting next to me, so there's bound to be a ruckus. All right, so I was getting those main pieces on. I mean, the base of my whole layout's done. I love the very dramatic, like, ink work that you see there. I've got all kinds of triangles in different sizes. I didn't measure any of them. I just kind of went for it. If it was a scrap, I went for it with those kind of sizes, or I just was eyeballing things. So, oh, and if you look in the inspiration piece, which I have at the beginning of this video, and you can kind of see it on my phone right there, there's really heavy splatters. So I was waiting till I got most of my pattern paper stuff done and all of that before I did that. And I really like it. It's kind of like distressed, smudgy, classy layout. Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing. It is now a thing. So that's what I did. So I'm going ahead to see what little bits I might be able to add on to this. I love that vellum December little die cut piece there. Those are from all of those die cuts that you see in the lower left. That's from the new Heidi Swapp Christmas collection. And they are gorgeous and they're pretty and all that kind of stuff. So I was going through just seeing what was going to work on this layout. It is it's one of those things that like the main design kind of took over on the layout. So it's something that I really like, and sometimes mixed media has a way of doing that too. It's such a strong thing that can happen on layouts. So I don't end up having to do much more after I get the base down. I'm going ahead and putting a little bit of journaling on the back side of this. It's just saying what I got for Christmas in the photos, which was really fun. The photo on the right, I have one of those KitchenAid mixers. You know how they come in every color now? But I've had mine for a little over 20 years. And it's bright white, and I got a glass bowl for it from one of my kids. And the boots that I'm holding in the photo on the left, that was part of my stocking from my husband, and it was filled with stocking stuffers. So that was kind of fun. So that's what that is. So my journaling, I'm going to call it hidden because you don't see it facing up. And I only will go ahead and attach the tag down on the very top. So it's like non-hidden, hidden journaling, if that makes sense. So this is where I get to just go ahead and audition different pieces and see where different pieces might be able to go on this layout. I print using a Canon Selfie, and the photo paper tends to be pretty forgiving for mixed media kind of things because once it prints the photo, it ends up putting like some kind of a little clear plastic coating over the photos. So you can get your mist off, you can get little tape runner stuff off, all that kind of stuff works really easily for it. So this is where I'm like, all right, what else can I put on here? And then I'm like, oh, yep, I have rub-ons. And, you know, I don't know if you guys are getting sick of me using rub-ons and everything or not, but I know that there's a bunch of you with a stash of vintage rub-ons hanging around. So you might want to embrace the rub-on revolution that I'm in the middle of, because until mine are used up, they're going to keep happening. The funny thing is I just received a kit in the mail this past week, and it actually had rub-ons on it. And I thought it was kind of funny because you don't see as many rub-ons in collections, but alas, I will be using even new ones. Anywho, totally different though, because these are like the classic stitch-on ones that you can use for anything, and the ones that I'll be using are kind of weird and holographic. All right, went off on a rabbit trail there. Sorry that you have to see my head reaching across. I'm a little bit shorter, so sometimes I have to lean over to see what is what. So this is where I'm like, all right, is there anything else that I can add on here? And now in this kit that I'm playing with, there are these gorgeous acetate snowflakes with gold print on them. And I'm going to go ahead and sneak a few of those in. You also see like those silvery blue snowflakes. And I'm not going to use those snowflakes on this because I have so much gold in the layout. It would be, I don't know, I don't like to mix metals. Every once in a while I can get myself to do it, but I really don't like the look on my own layouts that much. So I generally just don't do that much. All right, so those are the minuscule dots. I think it's Dots brand. Little adhesive circly bits, and I love to use them for my sequins. I mean, they're itty bitty. I just actually wish that there was that they didn't waste so much packaging. You know, they could put them a little bit closer together, but alas, they are not doing so. So I'm going ahead and grabbing out a bunch of the white stars from that, as well as the gold sequins, and they're taking the place of enamel dots kind of in my head. You know, when you just need to sprinkle a little something around to make it more interesting. So that is what I'm doing right there, and doing a quick cleanup before I send it flying off my desk. These are Crate Paper Snowflakes puffy stickers, and once again, most of these are really centered around snowy scenes, which just did not feel, you know, spot on for Christmas for me this year. So that's why I'm spending way too much time contemplating what might work. Now I did use a car on the bottom with a Christmas tree on it, so I went ahead and used a car on the top as well. And mostly just because I want to use like the super themey stuff, like Christmas trees or the word Merry Christmas or whatever. I'd really like to get them used up during this holiday if I can, because there'll be another great collection that comes down the pike next year, and I'll want bits and pieces of that. So that's a little bit more of a close-up. I will leave the links down below for the other Mixed Media Frenzy scrappy artist friends of mine. Take a look at what they do, and I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching today. Bye-bye.